Okay, so today's video hopefully will help those of you that are trying to figure out how to run basically water lines off your well. A few years ago I bought a piece of land up north, and long-term intent is to get a cabin built on it. Right now I just have my camper set up. When I first bought the property I had power ran to it, and that was it. I just had I had put a driveway in and then ran the power so that I could park the camper here, and then slowly, year by year, just slowly add to it. Since then I've put a septic system in last summer, and then this summer we're putting, we got a well drilled, and that's where we're at right now. So I like to try to do everything myself before I pay someone else to do it. The one thing I did pay to have done, I had the electrician. Sorry, I got gnats flying all over me. It's very warm. 4th of July. Happy 4th of July. I had an electrician run power line. I have a power post back behind the camper that I ran off the power lines off the kind of the dirt road out front there. Had an electrician run the power to my well. Otherwise, they drilled the well. All I had was this pipe sticking out of the ground with the pressure pump or the pressure tank and all the plumbing fixtures right on top of it. That was it. Got the power ran to it, and then for the past couple weeks I just ran a garden hose from my well, straight from the wellhead off the pump to the camper. That got us by. But what I want to do is put some water line underground, because the future intent is to put a small cabin where the camper is, so I want to have a water line going there anyway from the well. And so started thinking, hey, how am I going to do this? So my intention was to run a water line close to the camper so that I can put a hose spigot and then just run the hose off of that. Once I got the well drilled, then I just had to kind of sit down and figure out, all right, what all do I need? I've never done anything like this before, so it wasn't like I knew what I was doing necessarily at first. So couldn't find a lot on YouTube. That's why I'm making this video. So kind of cutting to the chase. I needed to figure out how to get it plumbed over there. As I had the hose hooked up, at first the sediment and stuff coming through, and I get it, it's a new well, so it's probably got to, burp the system out or whatever. Once it settles down, I guess it gets better, but still, you're getting some sediment. And so just running a hose, I just got a couple of inline filters that you get for a camper, and I ran one off the well onto the hose and then into the camper. That worked enough, and then the more we started using the well, the water started running more clear. But I wanted a complete filtration system also. Again, this is something I've never done, so I did as much research as I can, just how our house is set up off of wells. This is going to be more of a summer place, so wintertime I'm going to have to be able to blow the water out of the lines and stuff too, to winterize it. I live in Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin, up by Green Bay, and I won't be using it in the wintertime. It's just too cold up here to keep water going. So what I did, I'll try to explain, because I've already completed the task, and I think I can explain what I did without actually having to show you all the work that was done. So what I did at first, first I built this little well cover. It looks just like a little outhouse, and the roof is over there. I made it so I could take the roof off. And so it is a very small spot. You figure it's only about 4 foot tall total, and by about 2.5 foot wide. And at first I just built it to cover the well. Then I realized, I never thought about filtration. And so I bought a filtration kit. It's a 3-stage kit. And then I put a sediment filter in as well, which is that hanging off right there. So you can, on the bottom there's a, what do they call that? A valve to drain the water out and get the sediment out. So that gets a lot of the sediment at first, and then it goes through the 3-stage filter, out, down, and then I just got done. I trenched a line all the way down, and so this is just a single line, and I trenched it over here. I put a post in the ground. I ran an elbow. I use PEX line. I ran an elbow down at the bottom of this post here, and then up, and then I use I think they call them a shark bite spigot, and ran the PEX line into it, put an elbow in the bottom, and then I just have PEX line running straight underground. I rented a ditch witch. I'm not worried about it freezing up because I'm going to blow the water line out. So I got it as deep as I could. There's some roots and stuff because there's a lot of pine trees here. But ran the PEX line all the way over there. Spigot works now. And so really how I did it, the way my well was set up, as you can kind of see, it's coming out of the ground. So there's my well, and then they put the pressure tank and all the fittings on top of it. I had the electrician come in, and you know, he did the pressure switch, ran the power to it. He put a switch right here. Then he trenched a line. It goes back around the back of the forest there behind the camper, and then back there is my power. So that's all that was there. And now I realized, oh, I got to fit all this inside here. So here's what I did. I went on Amazon. I kind of did some research over the parts and pieces of just normal house wells. I put a sediment filter right there that I can periodically drain. And then I never worked with PEX line before, but I'll put the links in, the parts that I bought. Much cheaper to buy the tools off Amazon. I think I spent like 25 bucks for the tool to do the crimping, and it comes with a cutter, and it comes with a few of the metal crimping clamps there that go on there. So it took a few elbows of PEX line elbows to, you know, kind of put each one together. So from there, I just crimped some PEX line in, ran it into the inside of the water filter. So then this is a 3-stage. It has a sediment, then 2 charcoal filters, and then it comes out, and then it goes down, and then this is where I got the ditch witch, and I just trenched my line. So the one thing I like is underground, I don't have any elbows right here. I have it all. I use the natural bend of the PEX line and just kind of ran it under. So I don't have anything that could leak like right down here. If anything's going to leak, it'll be in here. Or the only spot that's underground that could leak is down at the spigot, where the spigot line going up connects with the PEX line underground. But it was super simple. I say that now. It really didn't take long. Once you kind of got all the right parts and pieces, I ordered the, it's really a 3-stage house filtration system. I ordered that off Amazon. I think that was the most expensive part. I think it was about $150 for that. And then at the end of each summer, I'll just I'll pull the canisters off. And what I can do is put a air valve on the end of that spigot and use compressed air, blow the water back out. Because once this filtration system's taken apart, it'll just blow water through that line there. So then there won't be any water underground during the winter time. Depressurize the well, let it drain back into itself. But not a hard project. And if you're wondering, man, how do I get water, especially for like a vacation cottage, or, you know, like this is just a summer setup that we have. I don't use it in the winter time, so it'll work fine for what we need. I don't have a giant well shack now. We just made this to look like a little outhouse, and the gnome stands in front of it so it doesn't kind of clash with the woods. But that's how you do it. And then you can just shut the valve off on top of the well. There's just a water valve for the main line. I also have a spigot coming off there that I can hook just a hose onto. And then off and on switch for the pressure switch right there at the well. So I can control most everything right here in this little well house. I also have it wired to the main circuit box over there on the post, so I can kill the power completely, you know, when I'm not here. But that's kind of how you do it. As far as putting the PEX lines together and stuff, it's really the crimping tool. It's just squeezing some pliers together onto the elbows and the brackets, and really wasn't that hard. The tool that comes with it, I gave it a thumbs up. I never used it before in my life, and this is the first time, and it was super easy to do the water line. So that was the scariest part for me. Everything else is just, you know, however you're doing it, you got to build the puzzle of how the lines need to route so that they can fit onto the parts and pieces. But there you go. That's how you run water line out of your well.